right, everybody, welcome back. It is a little late tonight, 11:53 p.m. on November 28th, 2018. We are looking first, always, at current temperatures. Most of you are very much aware that it's cold outside, as you could see the blue. Nothing really much above 40s anywhere from the middle of the country up to Canada. So it's very cold. We have a few situations going on, and we're going to try to tie them all together because they do eventually tie together. That involves the rain that is now moving into California, and then what that's going to do once it gets to the middle of the country and then to the Northeast. We are already getting calls for Winter Storm Carter. As we can see, if I could find the tab, I got tabs everywhere today, guys, so just bear with me here. All right, so Winter Storm Carter outer bands have arrived in California. So, not only is it not winter yet, but they're calling this a Winter Storm Carter. We are just now watching Winter Storm Bruce exit the Northeast, and they're calling this Winter Storm Carter, and it hasn't even arrived in California yet, let alone the middle of the country, let alone the Northeast. So very interesting there, but I'm going to kind of show you how it does make sense in a way. We have one of two systems that will more than likely be pretty significant for the Northeast as far as snowfall. But first, let's start in order here. So once again, here are the current temperatures right now. It is nighttime. It is going to be colder. So yes, these temperatures will change a little bit. The South states will get a little warmer as we move in the next couple days, but it's going to be followed by another wave of cold air that's going to make the Northeast super cold. So I want you to check out this tweet. This is by Geoff Cornish, weather reporter out of Los Angeles, I believe. Regardless, the tweet is important. Los Angeles will likely see 3/4 of an inch to an inch of rain on Thursday through Thursday evening. This will bring significant impacts to travel across Southern California, especially in and around LA. Evacuations have been ordered in the Holy Fire Burn Scar area due to the concern of mudslides. So the areas that were burnt, they're worried about the mudslides, which we talked about yesterday. So after these devastating fires that have been going on all over California, they are now going to get this massive amount of rainfall in a short period of time. Whether there's fires or not, that is always a concern for California when it comes to mudslides and things of that nature because of just the terrain, the dry, hot terrain. We're always dealing with lack of water in these areas, so once the water does come, it's just immediate chaos. So this is a very important thing for people to pay attention to, especially the people that were in those fire zones, because those are most prone to the mudslides and the landslides, as they're the ground itself, the ash, the dead trees, the trees that are just hanging on by a thread. All it takes is a little bit of water to loosen those things up, and down we go. So very important information here for those of you in California. Please look into this stuff, especially where the rain is going to be in your areas, okay? Here is a little bit of an idea of what to expect as far as rainfall for California. You could see up to 2 and 3 inches in some of these areas in Southern California, Los Angeles. Under this bar, it says 1 inch. Malibu, an inch of rain. Now, that may not seem like a lot, but for California, that is a lot of rain. And then as you move westward, it gets a little cooler. You're starting to see the snow. Kirkwood, 18 to 24 inches of snow, 2 feet in Cedar Grove. So you can see the pattern developing here. This rain system is going to move across the U.S. and then become a winter storm situation for the rest of the country. Now, whether that's going to be Winter Storm Carter, as they are already calling it, or it could be Diego if this doesn't really produce into a storm. There is another system, an even bigger system, moving in after this one that could be Carter. If this is not Carter, if this does become Carter, the next one coming is Winter Storm Diego. So let's look at some radar charts here and see what we got going on. So we're going to backtrack to frame 1 here, and we could see Bruce up in this area. This was Winter Storm Bruce. that did its number on the northeast. You're going to see that exit. You're going to see a little swath of cold air and moisture moving over the Great Lakes, which could bring a little extra snow to the upper northeast. Nothing super crazy, but what I want you to pay attention to is the system here that is swooping down into Southern California, and then we're going to get an idea of how that's going to move across the country. So you can see it's starting to get thicker up in the middle parts of the state here in California. And then as we get to the end of the frames, you're going to start seeing that moisture moving in to this area down by Los Angeles, closer to the Mexican border. You can see just at the end there, that's starting to move in. We'll get more data tomorrow for that. But what this is going to do now, which I'll show you on Tropical Tidbits right here. So this is current time. We're going to move forward. Here is Winter Storm Bruce once again moving its way out. And as we move forward, you see that big, look at that, look at all those rings. That's a lot of wind too, guys. So it's not only going to be a lot of rain, there's going to be a lot of wind, especially in the northern areas of California. As you see that central low pressure circle right there, that's where the highest wind rates are going to be. That's going to extend all the way down the state. So keep an eye on that. Watch as it passes through. You see the blues and yellows. A lot of the blues are the higher elevations where they're going to see the snow. This will be Friday the 30th. A little bit of a patchy situation going on down in the southeast. Not too much to worry about besides your basic rainfall, depending on temperatures. But here's the low pressure. So let me backtrack. Follow the low pressure. Okay, so right here is that L. This is the system moving into California, and then watch where it goes. Right to the middle of the country, and then you could start seeing the blues behind it. That is that next round of cold air as the southeast gets a little bit warm. They're going to have a couple days of warm air, and then it's going to be taken over by these cold temperatures again. This is why they're calling this right now Winter Storm Carter, because of the movement it's going to make straight up towards the Great Lakes, covering the entire northeast in what looks like rain. Vermont, New Hampshire could be getting some snow from this, so it is very possible that this may be a named winter storm, but when you see what comes after it, you could see the difference in these two systems. One definitely should be named, and one I'm not too sure about. The first one I'm not too sure about, but this one, by December 5th, this looks like your classic nor'easter winter storm. So if anything is going to be called Carter, I believe this will be that situation here. But again, I may be wrong. They have been naming these storms more and more frequently over the years. So we could be dealing with Carter and Diego within a 4-day period, December 2nd being one of them, the second of which being December 5th. And as you can see clearly, December 5th is a much more significant looking low pressure system, as we are dealing with the Great Lakes covered in blue, and that counterclockwise spin, like we always talk about, is going to bring that warm air, if it's warm at all, up into Canada. It's going to get cold and then bring it right back down into the States, and that's where that lake effect snow really starts to build up around Watertown, Buffalo, the areas we talk about non-stop because of those lakes. So we do have another situation, guys, where it's just going to be a few waves, like wave after wave of these storms, and it's all due to the atmospheric conditions going on around these storms. It's not like these storms pick and choose where they want to go. They are driven by atmospheric and upper level winds that also are responsible for our hurricane movements too. So there's no difference in this whatsoever. It's about what's going on around these storms that controls where they go. So it's partially good news for California and partially bad news, because the mudslides are a very serious situation that forces road closures. It's basically like areas in the southern states that get snowfall. It's like you get an inch of snow, nobody knows what to do, they don't know how to handle it. Same thing in California. When you get a big hit of rain like this, people don't know how to really handle it because they're not used to it. So after these fires, now dealing with this rain, we just got to hope for the best. And, you know, that's really all we can do. I'm not, almost at a loss of words for that one. So, but yes, the main point here, guys, December 2nd, very significant low pressure system moving up towards the northeast. Definitely something to keep an eye on, as it will cause travel issues all over the place. Stretching all the way down to the Carolinas, even though it's rain. But the wind factor here is going to be an issue. And then once again, I'll show you the December 5th. There you go. Low pressure, 994 low pressure. That is pretty low. We could be seeing like blizzard type conditions, especially in New York, New Hampshire, Vermont, and even looks like Massachusetts. It's going to be pretty much covered in the snow and that. And that is still a little bit of ways away to where it could even be worse than this, or it could lighten up a little bit and still stick to more of a rain situation. But based on the data we have here, I would consider this the more serious of the two systems coming on December 5th. And finally, I wanted to show you guys something really interesting that was on mainstream weather. I mean, this is classic Weather Channel, weather.com. This is their article right here. Airplanes likely caused snow to develop near Chicago. Okay, so I saw this title and I'm like, what is going on here? And then I scroll down and I read this. Airplanes flying into Chicago seeded clouds over Lake Michigan. This caused a burst of snow to appear on the Doppler radar, and they're considering it a hole punch cloud, which appeared on this satellite image right here. You could see how there's kind of like this break in the clouds here. Well, I have some pictures pulled up for you. Here was the original tweet by NWS Grand Rapids Group on Twitter. So if you want to shoot over to their channel, give them a thanks for this tweet, that would be cool. But this was the radar site. After a plane had approached O'Hara Airport, this satellite image was captured, and this is what it says. These horseshoes of heavier snow and radar east of Chicago are likely caused by aircraft on approach to O'Hara Airport, descent through water clouds. The freezing temperatures, it triggers an ice formation. They consider it a hole punch clouds, and it can be seen on satellites. So basically what they're saying is the airplanes, as they descend into the airport, they punch a hole through the clouds, and what happens is that hole fills up and then causes a snowfall. Now, I'm looking into the actual science of this because it's rare that you hear stories like this, so I want to learn about it. But they're saying it themselves, that this is exactly what happened. The airplane came in, it punched a hole through the cloud layer, and it actually made the snowfall in this area. So there was snow related to an airplane landing. It's probably happened more than once, but they're finally just talking about it as it was caught on satellite. So there is visual evidence, and being that it's on the Weather Channel website, I found that pretty interesting, so I figured you guys would find it interesting too. All right, guys, I got nothing else for you tonight, unfortunately, but tomorrow is another day. Special thanks to those of you who have sent donations to us. We do not like asking for this stuff. It's just a weird concept for us. We do have the links in the description box for those of you that feel like doing so. We don't expect it. We do this no matter what. But thank you to those that have donated. We've received a few over the last couple days, and we could not be more grateful for it. And it's people like you, people like our awesome subs that keep us doing this channel, even though our work schedule is just completely ridiculous. No matter what, we always want to make time to make these videos and get information out to you. So you can thank Caroline for this one. This was a very interesting story here. I don't know how she finds this stuff without me finding it. I'm getting kind of jealous, to be honest. No, I love the girl. She's great. So thank her for this. And also thank the NWS Grand Rapids Group on Twitter for providing this feed for us so we could see this satellite image of an aircraft causing snowfall. Imagine that, guys. All right, with that said, everyone have a great evening. We will talk tomorrow. It is the 29th. We are almost in December. Unbelievable. One more day until the official end of hurricane season 2018. Have a great night, everybody. We will talk very soon. Bye-bye.